The question is, should one have dreams? क्या हमें सपने देखने चाहिए? Somebody has asked this. Some people believe, that dreams and desires are essential for personal growth, whereas others say that, even in Bhagavad Gita, it is written that sankalpa or desires, if they are there, then a person is not a true yogi, and one should transcend them. So these are little contradictory kind of views. What do people think? Can desires be pursued without hindering spiritual growth? Dear friends, we all know, generally there is this contrast. In Western thinking, the desires, dreams are given lot of value, whereas in Eastern thoughts, it is generally, considered as a hindrance for spiritual growth. The more desire a person has, he's considered as more a materialistic kind of a person and not spiritual. So this is the conflict, the person here has raised, and we would like to discuss upon this. First, I would like to ask my students to please share their views. Please unmute.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Uh, Desires, or we can say goals, are mainly. Goal is necessary even for spiritual progress. But our goal can be worldly or materialistic or spiritual. Whichever goal we choose is the thing that depends on. Because even when you have to progress spiritually, we have some kind of sankalpa. We do keep some goals. We do like, okay, I will do 108 times chanting today, or I will not attribute it to myself, or I will not blame anybody else. These are sankalpa that we can make to achieve progress in our spiritual journey.
Okay, so Vibha shares that goal is important, and it can be a goal related to material or it can be a spiritual goal. And so she says that in that way, if the goal is spiritual, then there is no conflict. So it matters what you are dreaming or desiring. Fine. Let us hear from Tarana.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Yes.
sir. Desires in both the side, Western culture or spiritual side, we can call it desires, but they have their different perspective. Like as Vibha said, ki in spiritual progress we call it goal, like one pointed, one aim goal. Like we have to achieve this in spiritual state. There are desires, no doubt there are desires in spiritual progress also, but it is in different way. So this is how Bhagavad Gita or spiritual text teach us, keeping desires without hindering our spiritual growth.
Okay. So Tarana says that your desires can be there, but they should not hinder your growth. They should be aligned.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let us hear from Brinda.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Sir, I believe that you need to have goal, but not be attached to that. The journey itself, the path itself, should be bringing a spiritual progress in you. If you just be one pointed and focus on the goal, you will lose touch with it. So, practicing yoga while on the path is better, I feel.
So what do you think? One should have dreams or not?
Yes, one should. If we compare Western psychology and our ancient texts, start with dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So we have to keep dharma as the base, and artha, kama, moksha. There is also a goal there. With these principles, you have to go towards the goal. There, if we see Maslow's hierarchy, it starts with complete with physiological needs. Then the pyramid goes. In the end, both says self-actualization itself, but you should know how to stay untouched and still pursue your goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Vrinda has brought in a very beautiful point here. She says that it is mainly the journey that is important and that is spiritual. And one should have dreams, but they should be aligned with dharma. Okay, let us hear from Dr. Avinash, who is a psychiatrist and a spiritual person also. Dr. Avinash.
Suprabhatam Sarvesham.
Yes.
So it's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves almost daily, I think, because otherwise there are our five sense organs are there to drag us all around, and we will be pulled away to all directions. Definitely, there is necessary for some amount of desires and sankalpa, but as we have already heard from our colleagues, it should be um, in regards to spiritual process. To my understanding, Indian system has already provided these uh, path, like as we have seen that the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, each person can go through these gunas in various phases of his life. So based on his gunas, his desires will come also. So, but however, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has clearly mentioned, do not shun away your guna. Accept it, but try to move to a higher guna. If you are a tamasic person, go to a rajasic. If you are rajasic, go to a sattvic. So it is clearly mentioned. So based on gunas, we will get our desires also. Along with that, we in Indian system we have four ashramas. So in each ashrama we have different um, targets like brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So like we are prepared in brahmacharya phase only, we are prepared what we are supposed to see, what are desires we should have in our life. So if we go through these stages in life, I think we will achieve the end goal. Like in brahmacharya, we learn that as Brinda mentioned, within the boundaries of dharma and moksha, we can enjoy artha and kama. That is why Gruhastha Ashrama has come. And definitely, once we have achieved our desires, we go to the next level, that is Vanaprastha, and then achieve like more and more of this penance should be done, and then we reach Sannyasa Ashrama and we focus towards God and we attain our higher salvation. That is what Bhagavad Gita also tells, and even Bhagavad Gita clearly mentions that karma has to be done. Don't shun away your karma. Karma is the necessary thing. Every moment, even I am doing karma. So you should be doing your karma, but ex, uh, don't uh, expect what out of it has to come. Just keep doing your karma is what it tells. But so we should have some amount of desires within the boundaries of dharma and moksha. Then we are aligned towards our goals. That is what I understand.
Yes. So, Dr. Avinash, I have one question here. You very beautifully brought out the point of, transcending or moving from one guna to another guna. Bhagavad Gita also talks about a state known as gunatita. So, does gunatita person have desire or not?
I think when we reach that level of gunatita, I don't think
Transcending gunas. Yeah.
I think at that level we don't focus on what guna we have. I think, sir, when we are atita of all the gunas, then we don't care for any of these. We are in alignment with God or in direct connection with God. I don't think that anything matters to that person at that level is what I think.
So, he has desires or not?
Desiring for salvation is not a desire, is what I think,
Yes. Thank you.
because
Thank you.
that is the
Very,
ultimate
very,
goal.
very, very beautiful point that Dr. Avinash has brought. Very systematically, he says that each ashrama can have a goal, and towards that, along with dharma, desires can be there and they can be aligned with the spiritual progress. No, people ask, I want to earn money, you know. So is it, if I am earning money, if I have desire of having a good house, and material pleasure, am I against the spirituality? It is the kind of a question
No,
people ask.
no. But within the boundaries of dharma, if you are earning, then definitely that is fine. But you should not go greedy and earn more and more. And whatever we spend also as part of Grihastha Ashrama, we should spend on all the dharma karyas like for charity and helping the needy, all those things. Then it is definitely okay to earn how much ever money you want. But at the same time, as Brinda mentioned, it's like a drop on the leaf of the lotus flower. We are not attached to it. If we have that in our mind, I don't think anything will attach us. And whatever, I think to some extent, to the people who are this, they tend to get more and more of this. God tends to test those people also. Is this person attached more and more also?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Avinash. Let us hear from Dr. Gandhi.
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the desires and dreams. So I remember always Abdul Kalam, our ex-president, used to say, "Dream to success." So always you dream. That's what I used to remember. Desire and dreams should be there for anybody to come up or even to grow. When we are young, the desire, their dream to become educated and get a degree. And also, when you are young, I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, lawyer, like the desires should be there. Without desires or dreams, we cannot think of the goal or we cannot go for the success. Desire and dreams are very, very important for our personal growth as well as to success in our education and also our when you become adult we earn we want to succeed also we desire to success in our career and make a secure for our finance and fulfillment of our family members earning a good amount and going up in the ladder up that is what that is also. And also when we earn, as Dr. Avinash was telling, when we earn, I remember the philanthropists like Narayan Murthy or Sudha Murthy or Bill Gates, when they earn so much of millions of dollars and they give for the poor and for the health upliftment of lower community like underdeveloped countries like Africa and in India and for education like that is also it is a good also. And that is the one side for our fulfillment, personal fulfillment and personal success. And coming to the another spiritual, definitely in the spiritual, when we do any, when you take up the yoga or when you take up the meditation or pranayama, all these things will have a goal that when I take up so mainly the yoga or whatever the Ashtanga yogas, Yama, Niyama and all, why we follow means that I should be disciplined, I should be have a good health, and that is what the Yama,
No,
Niyama.
Gandhi sir,
And
here
when you take up,
one
yeah,
point is, uh, generally don't people say that, if you are spiritual, you have less desires in your heart. Whereas people who are not spiritual, who are more into material things, they have more desires. So, do you agree that spiritual people should have less desires, or you think that no, with all the
the
desires also
direction
you
is
can?
different, sir. Direction is different. The material desire is one side.
Hmm.
The spiritual desire, see, I want to have a self-realization. I will have sankalpa. See, I
Hmm.
had seen the Yoga Nidra in Bihar Institute of Science, I mean, Yoga.
Hmm.
The what in Yoga Nidra, at the end of that secret of the total transformation,
Hmm.
the Anandamurti Guruma. used to tell, so sow the seed before you start the yoga nidra, and ripe at the end, asking whatever you want, like self-realization, God realization, or I want to attain mukti. So these are all the in the spiritual side we want to ask. So that is what I had understood. In spiritual also, I want to be healthy also, because to achieve this self-realization, you should live good health and the good health, and live long for long time. Then only you can
Yes.
take this time to achieve your self-realization or God realization, or
Okay,
after
okay.
achieving that one, you want
So,
to
so
do
Gandhi sir
your,
says that
yeah.
even for spiritual realization at the end in Yoga Nidra, you have a sankalpa. So he says that sankalpa or a pure or a goal is required, even if a person is materialist or not. Okay, let us hear from Shobhana ji and then Radha ji. Yes,
Good morning, sir.
yes.
According to me, pursuing a dream or desire for satisfaction of soul and doing good for others is not bad. But we should be
Mm,
aware of our limitations, duties, responsibilities, and then
mm,
pursuing a goal is fine. And it should not be done with a competitive spirit, more for satisfaction of soul and surrendering to God. Most of the time, people get into competing with others, and the desire will be accordingly. So that is maybe bad. But if you're done for it for your own satisfaction of soul and doing good for others and being aware of your limitation, duties, responsibilities, it should be fine. And surrendering
Superb.
to God.
Superb, superb. So Shobhana ji brings very important aspect here that desire cannot go completely out of control. You need certain dimensions, certain areas within which you have to limit your desire. As others said that it should be aligned with dharma. You should not be competing with others. But if it is aligned like that, desire is all right. And it is not contradictory to the spiritual path. Radha ji, what do you think?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Uh, it's only thing actually, the problem is nowadays, it's in the very early childhood, only people are making goal is only becoming somewhat a professional engineering doctor or whatever. But if it is goes, then the children or human being cannot think the purpose of life or their enlightenment, and they can hinder that knowing thyself will be hinder them if you in childhood if you do that. So it's not wrong that becoming a having a dream or desire, but always renew a mental balance. Like you should have the instita pragna, you should be there, so that
Hmm.
if you are achieving anything, it should be in always in your mind neti neti, that is don't attach to that. If you are doing some purpose, if you are becoming something professional or anything, if you are having some desire, but you have to search or see the purpose of behind doing that. So then you will have the always the mind in the sthita pragnata will be there, and will not have the attachment, because you're doing the for a higher purpose, higher level you are doing. So you are a medium of doing on this earth. So like that you have to think, and as well as you have to see all this dharma artha kama moksha, then you will not hinder your spiritual goals also. Everything is doing for the Krishna Maya, means everything is, you are the medium. God has chosen that you are a medium to do all in different, because everybody cannot become in everybody cannot do the everything. So if you
Yes.
have always all that awareness, and if you are doing anything, but end of that, you have to know thyself. You should be conscious enough and be humble and grounded, so that you can realize the purpose of your life. You can reach the higher spiritual level. Why God has sent on this earth. So it can be any profession, anything, any higher desires. But you should not forget about you're a conscious, as we say in our yoga nidra. You're not body. You're not a mind, you are a conscious. So conscious can be any to achieve anything, but you are always have the grounding yourself, and always think that is
Hmm.
neti neti. Then you'll not have the ego, or you can control your emotions. See, I used to say they all they have done in old age, they have gone all pilgrimage and everything, but he is not able to control his emotions. But the ego should not come. He has seen all the pilgrims and everything, but he cannot control the anger. See, there is a story. child asks, Tata, what you have done? You went there, here and there. You have saw that temple, the temple, and all yatras, everything. Children is asking 4 to 5 times. Arey, how many times you'll ask? So if he is becoming anger, child is asking number of times, because child cannot understand. But you are not controlling. You have done all yatras, all spirituality, everything. You have achieved in a different profession, very higher, becoming a good, great in that. But when you're not controlling your emotions, you're not in yourself. What are you? What kind of person you are? And you're becoming anger on this child. So then where did you know the your conscious level? So that should
Yes,
be.
yes. So Radhaji, brought in one important viewpoint, that one should not lose the touch with one's own source. One should always have that, anchor within oneself. Who am I? Know thyself should be the base. On that only the desire should come. If desires come and you lose your core, then you will go haywire. It will be very difficult to control the mind, if desires only become the direction. Let us hear from Sanjeev Shah Sarji. Yes,
नमस्ते।
namaste.
मैंने पहले भी एक मंत्र बताया है जो कि शायद गीता का सार है। ये यजुर्वेद का 40वें अध्याय का मंत्र है। कुर्वण्ये वेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेस सतं समा एवं त्वयि नान्य थे तो अस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। अब ड्रीम देखिए, इसमें कितनी बड़ी आकांक्षा, आशा की बात करता है। कहता है कि 100 साल तक जीने की आकांक्षा रखिए और कर्म करिए, पर उसमें लिप्त नहीं होइए। न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। कर्म करने में कोई समस्या नहीं है, आप उसमें लिप्त ना हो। जैसे कलाम सब कहते हैं कि सपना वो जो हमें सोने न दे। तो सोने न दे का अर्थ ये नहीं है आप रात भर जागते रहें, उस सपने के पीछे जीवन खराब करें, पर इसका अर्थ ये है कि आप उन्नति करें, तरक्की करें और निश्चित रूप से खूब चैन की नींद सोएं। आपने जो कर लिया उसके बाद आपने अपनी क्षमता का पूरा इस्तेमाल कर लिया। आप भगवान को भी चैलेंजिंग रूप में भी कह सकते हो, सरेंडर रूप में भी कह सकते हो कि मेरा जो करना था वो मैंने कर लिया, अब तेरी मर्जी, जो करना है कर, मैं तो सो रहा हूं, ऐसा वाला। और ड्रीम का अर्थ ऐसा है कि एक अंदरूनी आपको बाहर की तरफ ढकेलना होता है, इंटरनल पुश है किसी चीज की तरफ। आपका मन भीतर से कहता है कि आपको कुछ करना है, और एक होता है एक्सटर्नल पुल, आपको कोई चीज बाहर की तरफ से खींच रहा है। तो जो खींचना है वो माया है, मोह है, किसी चीज की तरफ आपका खिंचाव है, वो आपको खींच रहा है, आप उसकी तरफ नहीं जाते। तो हमारे सपने ऐसे नहीं होने चाहिए जो बाहर से आपको खींच रहे हैं, वो अंदर वाले होने चाहिए जो हम बाहर की तरफ दे रहे हैं।
क्या बात है,
दूसरा,
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर।
अगर आपके सपने नहीं हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि फिर जिंदगी जो है, जो अगर किसी कर्ता को मानते हैं, परमात्मा को मानते हैं, तो अगर हमारे सपने नहीं होते, अगर हमारी इच्छाएं नहीं होती, डिजायर्स नहीं होती, चाह नहीं होती, तो हम तो फिर वो अमीबा वाले फॉर्म में होते। फिर जो सारी दुनिया में एवोल्यूशन है वो सारे नहीं हुए होते। हम जो प्रकृति में सुंदरता देखते हैं उन सब के पीछे जो सबसे बेसिक चीज है वो है हमारी चाह। मैंने सोचा, मैं कभी बकरी हुआ करता था, मैंने सोचा कि मैं ऊपर की सबसे पुंगी वाली बढ़िया पत्तियां खाऊंगा, तो मैं जिराफ हो गया। मैंने सोचा मैं पानी में जाऊंगा, तो ऐसे जीव हैं जो एक्चुअली पक्षी हैं पर वो पानी के अंदर तैर रहे हैं। सांप है पानी के अंदर चल रहे हैं, या एवोल्यूशन की थ्योरी सब जानते हैं। ये हैं सपने। हमने सपने देखे, हमने चाहा, हमने किया, पूरा किया। लेकिन सपनों का अर्थ ये नहीं है कि चीजों के पीछे आप भागे भागे फिरे उसकी तरफ। तो मैं एक थोड़ा गलत सा शब्द इस्तेमाल करता हूँ कि हमारी जिंदगी आज की डेट में ऐसी हो गई है जैसे कुत्ते हैं, कुछ करे ना करे जीभ निकाल कर हाँफते रहते हैं, लार चूती रहती है। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। हमें करना है, दौड़ना है, भागना है, खूब करना है। अगर अपनी क्षमता का पूरा इस्तेमाल नहीं करते हैं तो आप बेईमान हैं। ईश्वर आपसे पूछेगा कि आपने क्या किया।
हम्म।
लेकिन अब इससे और आगे बढ़ते हैं तो देखते हैं, जैसे एक छोटा बच्चा होता है जिसको समझ नहीं होती, सूझ नहीं होती,
हम्म।
वो भी किसी चीज की तरफ भागता है। वो मुझे ये दे दो, वो तो बहुत बार दूसरों की चीजें छीन लेता है, दूसरों की
हम्म।
चीजें चुरा लेता है, बहुत नेचुरल वे में चुरा लेता है।
हम्म।
पर उसे पाप बोध नहीं होता, उसे ये पता नहीं होता कि इसका मतलब गलत है। वो
हम्म।
अंतरतम की इच्छा से उस तरफ जाता है। पर जैसे
हम्म।
जैसे हम समझदार होते हैं, हम
हम्म।
अपनी जागृत अवस्था में भी हम अपने तर्क का, रैशनल माइंड का इस्तेमाल करते हुए भी
हम्म।
मालूम है कि अगर मेरा किसी ने चुराया होता तो मुझे बड़ा बुरा लगता, मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए, फिर भी हम दूसरे का कुछ ले रहे हैं,
हम्म।
कुछ लेने की इच्छा जाहिर कर रहे हैं, कुछ चाह रहे हैं। ऐसे वाले ड्रीम अच्छे नहीं। तो
हम्म।
ये बच्चे वाली स्थिति हुई। इसके ठीक उल्टी, जैसे अभी मोक्ष की बात कर रहे थे, तो हमारे विशेषज्ञ ने कहा कि मोक्ष की इच्छा जो है वो डिजायर नहीं है। मेरा अपना सोचना है कि मोक्ष है ही वही जब आपकी इच्छा ही न रह जाए किसी की,
हम्म।
मोक्ष की भी इच्छा न रह जाए, वही मोक्ष। मैं आज
हम्म।
अपनी स्थिति में हूँ, मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है, हाँ, कुछ भी नहीं है। इसके
हम्म।
बाद भी अगर मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, आई एम वेल सेटिस्फाइड,
हम्म।
थैंकफुल टू एवरीथिंग, थैंकफुल टू गॉड, थैंकफुल टू सोसाइटी, तो
हम्म।
मैं मोक्ष में ही हूँ।
हम्म।
और अगर मुझे मोक्ष भी चाहिए, सब कुछ और पा लिया, बस मोक्ष ही बाकी है, तो भी मैं मोक्ष में नहीं। और
हम्म।
मोक्ष मिल जाए फिर लगे कि इसमें कुछ बाकी है, तो भी नहीं। मतलब कुछ नहीं होना ही ऐसा वाला।
यस, यस, यस। बहुत बहुत ही
तो
सुंदर। यस।
मेरा अपना सोचना है कि सपने होने ही चाहिए, होने होने ही चाहिए। आपके हर
हम्म।
रोज के सपने होने चाहिए। वो संकल्प जो योग निद्रा वाली बात करते हैं, वो रोज
हम्म।
के हों, पल पल के हों, और आप हर सपने को पूरा करने के लिए जी जान लगा दें, खून का कतरा
हम्म।
कतरा लगा दें और उसको
हम्म।
पूरा करें,
हम्म।
बशर्ते वो सिर्फ आपके लिए ना हो। तो दो तरह की चीजें हैं, एक हुआ इंटरनल मेरे लिए, और एक हुआ
हम्म।
एक्सटर्नल दुनिया के लिए। अगर आप प्रकृति को मानते हैं, परमात्मा को मानते हैं, तो सपनों को पूरा करिए ताकि प्रकृति का विकास। और
हम्म।
अगर आप खुद की बात कर रहे हैं, तो ये करते हुए भी भीतर में कुछ नहीं चाहिए वाला भाव,
हम्म।
कुछ नहीं चाहिए वाला भाव
हम्म।
बिल्कुल पड़ा रहे कि हुआ हुआ, नहीं हुआ नहीं हुआ, मेरा काम था करना,
क्या बात है, क्या बात
मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए। ऐसा वाला सपना, सपने होने ही चाहिए, लेकिन लस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए,
है।
मोह नहीं होना चाहिए, माया नहीं होना चाहिए।
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत ही सुंदर, संजीव सर। We are really, really lucky, to have Sanjeev sir with us, and really, it is from his experience of his life, that he
सर,
shares these.
तरबूजे को देख के तरबूजा रंग बदलता है।
तो ये जो आपने जो ज्ञान के मोती दिए हैं सर, ये बहुत ही बेशकीमती है, बहुत ही सुंदर है। थैंक यू वेरी मच,
सभी
थैंक यू
बोल
वेरी
रहे हैं
मच
सर,
सर।
लगभग सेम बात सभी बता रहे हैं।
यस।
थैंक यू सर।
हम शशि सरदाना सर से भी
ये
सुनेंगे। यस।
नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते, नमस्ते सर।
नमस्ते सर। मैं सर अभी
नमस्ते।
जो संजीव सर कह रहे थे, आज हमारे फ्रेंड्स ने भी जो कहा है, मैं आपको उसका एक लाइव उदाहरण देता हूँ। इट्स अ ट्रू इंसिडेंट
हम्म।
एंड मीन्स इट्स अ वेरी पैराडॉक्स। लाइक मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए का जो अंत है वो अच्छा नहीं है। आई स्टडीड इन इंस्टीट्यूशंस, एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस, एएस हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल, नॉट ए सीनियर सेकेंडरी स्कूल, देन एएस कॉलेज. They also have AS Modern School. The founder principal was Principal Nandlal Kalra. He dedicated his whole life to the upbringing of these educational institutions from a very small level to a very huge level. He dedicated his whole life. In the process, he neglected his family. He didn't do much money as salary from that job. And when he grew old, he then stopped doing work and settled in his house. A person who was a peon in the school, his name was Padam. He used to do some household chores in the house of Principal Nandlal Kalra. Yeah. My
शशि
friend's
सर।
father asked,
हाँ,
Padam, why
हाँ।
have you come so early? His principals are not here. He started crying. He started weeping. That elderly man, Padam, he said, why are you crying?
Mm.
He said they have not eaten anything for the last few days. They don't have
Mm.
money.
Mm.
Then that shook my friend's father. He was member of management. He took the issue in the management that one person who has dedicated his whole life to the upbringing of these institutions for benefit of thousands of millions of children, their education, and he just see his end. He has nothing to fall back on. Then they passed a resolution.
Yes. I think there is some problem with connectivity, Shashi sir. So Shashi sir also brought
From
in
means.
yeah.
That's very important.
Very.
You need something to live on, to fall back on. So blind dedication to something without bothering for everything of your own, I think it's not justified.
You need a balance.
Yes, to neglect
You
your
need a balance.
family, your wife, your old age, something means you have to consider everything.
Yes.
So you must strike a balance. So when I listened to this thing, I was shook, very much shook internally. This is a true incident, and the names are true.
Yes.
A friend of mine is an orthopedician in Australia. His name is Sandeep Tiwari. We are very good friends. I used to visit him daily in his house. It was just opposite school. So after school or during school, we used to go to his house. So, and Padam, he used to give us shuttles for play in the evenings for playing badminton. He used to have shuttles for giving to students. So that was a state of affairs. So this is something one must consider. It's really point to ponder.
Yes. Shashi sir has brought in a point that, in considering spiritual goals, one neglects the very base, the things that are required for one's own survival and for the well-being of the family, So many people do that. They consider that they are spiritual, and in that they end up in mismanaging things for their own people, for themselves, and then land in trouble. Very important issue. Let us hear from Preeti ji, what Preeti ji wants to share.
Sir, thank you so much for a very enriching discussion. So just 2 points. One is when we are in the process of attaining our so-called spiritual goals, we not only need to take care that we don't harm ourselves, others, and even the nature. As Gandhiji has said, the earth has enough for everyone's need, but not greed. That was one point. And the second was, as you attain salvation and you feel that you don't have any needs, I think that is the very important time to surrender yourself to God and think that God has given me this life for a purpose, and my life is maybe a lesson to others, and continue and totally surrender yourself. I think you need not have a dream at that time. You just align yourself to God's dream. Just like what Shashiji said, I think it's really important. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So, very enriching discussions. We get some key points, from this discussion. One, as Sanjeev sir told two important points. One, he says that Nacha karma lipyate nare. This is the shloka that you should pray for living for 100 years, have desires, but you should not be attached to the outcome. That is what comes from Isha Upanishad. Then he also said that when you are desiring something, ask yourself whether it is the thing that is pulling me, or it is my inherent direction that is coming from my own heart, which is directing me to move towards it. So one should become aware, and it should not be the object pulling you, it should be your inherent drive which is driving you. That is important. And on the other extreme, one should not ignore, the fundamentals of life, and one should always, desire to live a comfortable life and also take care of one's own family. But one should not be greedy also. It should not go out of control, as Pritiji said. And Pritiji brought in another important point, that as one keeps growing from artha to kama, and then one reaches a state, as Sanjeev sir also told, that naturally the desires in the heart starts withering away, and then one should align oneself with God's desires, fulfilling a purpose. So now let us quickly see what Krishna has to tell in Bhagavad Gita about it. Before this, as we all know that, the Western concepts give a lot of importance to dreams and desires for personal development and fulfillment. In fact, there is, as at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of human evolution, we see self-actualization is actually achieving one's fullest potential by striving towards goals and ambitions. And from this perspective, desires are often seen as motivating forces that push us to improve and grow. Sanjeev sir was saying that the whole evolution is driven by these forces. So this is about the Western concept. When you look at Bhagavad Gita in the third chapter, there is a beautiful discussion that happens. Now here, towards the negative aspect of the desire, uncontrolled desire, Krishna tells, when Arjuna asks him, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichhanapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. You know, who is it who, compels a person to commit a sin, even if the person doesn't want to do it? Baladiva, by force, as if by force. Who is it or what is it that propels a person to commit things which the person doesn't want to do in his life? Krishna says, Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha. It is desire alone which is born of contact with the mode of passion. Desire which is driven by the sense organs. If my sense organ and fulfillment of the sense pleasure becomes the only goal of my life, then he says, Mahapapma vidyade miha vairinam. It is the all-devouring enemy of the whole world. Ultimately, if we look at nature, oceans are becoming empty, jungles are getting destroyed, birds do not have shelters to live in, species are getting extinct every day. Why is that? That is also human desire only. No? So we have to understand, put desire in the right perspective. So if my sense organ and object contact if that is the only purpose for which I am living, then Krishna is saying you are doing a great sin, and it is the root cause of suffering in the whole world. So this has to be understood. Very beautifully Sanjeev sir said that if the object draws me, it is a problem. If it is an inherent thing that comes from within me, then that has to be cultivated. So again, Krishna tells here, Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. The enlightened sages call these person wise, whose every action is free from the desire for material pleasure and who have burned the reactions of work in the fire of divine knowledge. So this is the question that the person who asked this question asked me, because you are calling that person a pandita who has Sarva Sankalpa Samarambha. It means that in the beginning there is no Sankalpa that is going in such a person because his jnana is increasing. So that was the conflict person was asking. So here we see in the next shloka Krishna gives the answer. Tyaktva karma phalasanga nitya trupto nirashrayah karmanye bhi pravritto api naiva kinchit karoti saha. It is not that you have to give up the desire or the action. See, action will not happen without a desire. First desire comes, then action comes. Krishna is saying, Karmanye bhi pravritto api. You can do your action. Desires can come. But the problem is the karma phal sanga. Desiring is not a problem. But getting attached to a specific outcome of your desire, is the problem, and it leads to a lot of suffering. That is why Krishna tells, Karmanyevadikaraste. All of us have this right, eligibility to do karma, to desire thing, to manifest our fullest potential. But it is not necessary that whatever I desire will manifest in the way I want. So I should not be attached to the outcome for a particular way. It should not become a source of anxiety or frustration for me. So, like Sanjeev sir said, हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. लेकिन I desire to do many things. I want to do many things, but I should be able to take it easy. If it happens, good. With the wish of God, it will happen. If it doesn't happen, yes, good. Did not want it to happen because that is what is good for everybody. So with this attitude, one should have a childlike desire. It should not become a thing, a question of life and death for you. That kind of it is not the desire, but the attachment to the outcome of the desire that is the problem. And there are other group of people who have lot of desires, but they do not bring those desire to any kind of action. Karmendriye sanyam, it means the organ of action, the sense of action, they completely block it. Ya aste manasa smaran, but in the mind they keep desiring, imagining of the sense organ pleasures. Krishna tells them Vimudhatma, deluded, mithyachari, as a person who is a hypocrite. So, such kind of behavior should be avoided. But what should be done? Krishna says, Yasvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhate Arjuna. The sense organ should be controlled by the mind to be controlled by the intellect to be controlled by the very source of creation within you, which is known as Atman. And then what is to be done? After controlling the sense organs, the motor organs, karmendriye karma yogam, should be channelized towards karma yoga. So, controlling the sense organ, engage the working senses in working without attachment towards karma yoga, that is uplifting others. Such kind of people are certainly superior. So, here the important point is aligning the dreams towards a higher purpose. Now, when APJ Abdul Kalam sir says that your dream should not let you sleep, you should also understand that the dream that he's talking about is aligned to a higher purpose in life. It is towards uplifting of others that you should contribute. Towards that, the motor organ should be channelized. Towards that, you should have many desires. Uplifting others and uplifting oneself also. The light that has to spread starts from the family. So you uplift your closed ones, uplift yourself, and then uplift the whole society, uplift the animals, plants, the whole planet. Towards that, you should have more and more desires. So karmendriya should go towards karma yoga. Karma yoga means upliftment of others. If my desires are towards downgrading others, then such desires, such greed will always lead to more problems. And why this is to be done? This is to be done because this prepares one for higher meditative states. From the kama, artha to kama, one goes towards moksha. There comes the dawn of life, where you have to then relax. So at that time, completely renouncing all desires arising from thoughts of the world, one should restrain senses from all sides and slowly and steadily, with conviction in the intellect, the mind will become fixed in God alone. Shane shane ruparmet buddhya dhruti grahitaya atma samstham manah kritva na kinchidapi chintaye. So therefore, we have to prepare for higher meditative states. So if you have a goal, please make sure that it is aligned towards a higher purpose in life. Second, do not get attached to the outcome of the desire. Do many actions, but don't get frustrated if they are not manifesting in the way you want. Channelize yourself towards doing other things. It reminds me of a very wonderful philanthropist, Karad sir, who has done a lot of activities in Pune. He started this MIT group of institutions in Maharashtra. He used to say, Satya Sankalpa cha Data Narayana. He used to say that your Sankalpa should be Satya. Satya means it should be aligned with the fundamental forces of Dharma. And then you will see that your will gets aligned with God's will, and that is the manifestation. So human being and his desires only are the manifestation of God in the whole creation. Manushya hi hai pramana Ishwar ka. People say that God exists is proven by what? It is proven by human being and his actions. But then the actions, the dreams are such that they contribute to the welfare of everybody. So towards that, we should align it. And the way the dreams manifest, it has its own ways. The karma manifests in mysterious ways. And therefore, one should understand that even if it is not manifesting in a particular way now, there are other ways in which it will move on. But if your intention is pure, you should dream high and allow things to flow and not get stuck anywhere. So thank you very much. Very enriching discussion today. Please ponder upon it. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Very
Thank
interesting.
you, sir. Paul. Very deep subject today. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hemant, sir.